All right, so let's talk about 6 lessons from making 69 million US dollars. And welcome back to the Traders Improve podcast. My name is Rolf and I'm the founder of Tradeciety and Tracademy.com. And in this podcast, I just share general trading tips, things to get that will help you get better as a trader, or just talk about things that in general are very interesting, at least for me. And if you have not been living under a rock for the past 2 to 3 weeks, you have probably heard about the digital artist named Beeple, who sold one of his digital art pieces in an auction for 69 million US dollars. And then I went back to some of his podcasts or interviews that he has been given over the years and listened to it. And his story is just fascinating. And just in a nutshell, what he has been doing, his project has been that 13 years ago, he wanted to get into art or art making, or just wanted to develop a hobby in art making. And then he said that he would put out a piece of art every single day, and he hasn't missed a day in over 13 years. So over, I think, 5,000 pieces of digital art that he has been put out. And I will link his profile, also an article to one of the auctions, and also his website, because on his website he posts and he condenses all of his previous art pieces. And you can very nicely, if you go all the way to the beginning, you will see that when he started his first few months, his art was just, well, very, very bad, very amateurish, because obviously he didn't have a background in art, he didn't know what he was doing. And so he was just developing a completely new skill, and you can very nicely follow his process and his progress. And I've condensed 6 lessons that I've come to learn from his interviews and podcasts, which are very relatable to trading as well. And the most important or the most interesting one is that he said in one of his interviews that he gave is that the fact that he put this arbitrary deadline on himself for his project, that he would post a single piece of art every single day by midnight, it would just mean that he doesn't have time for perfection. And whether it is art or any creator, whether you want to write something or just learn a new skill, we often don't even get started because we fear that whatever we are going to do is not going to be good enough, and it's just not going to live up to our standards. So very often we just postpone and procrastinate because we just don't want to put something out there which is not great. And he said that he just doesn't have time for that. And at the same time, even if one day he isn't very satisfied with whatever he has created, the next day he has a new chance, and he just can make up for it again, and he has a new try. And I think for trading, this is very relatable as well. And I've talked about this many times. When you want to be a trader and you want to trade for the next 10, 15, 20 years, you're going to take hundreds or thousands of trades. And even if one trade isn't great, the next day or the next trade, you have a chance to make up for that. However, you cannot allow to get one single hand out of trade. You cannot allow one single trade to have a big impact on your trading performance. I think many traders will be relating or will be able to relate. How often were you able to hold it really nicely together for 2, 3, 4 weeks, months maybe, and then this one single trade where you completely lose it, and then you lose all your previous gains. And this is just something that if you put it into the bigger picture, into the whole context, it will look very, very differently. Another thing that he said is inspiration is overrated. So he doesn't have the luxury to just sit around and wait until his muse and his inspiration strikes. He just has to get going. And I also I'm a big fan of Seth Godin, who is one of the most successful authors of the current day. I presume he has written, I think, well over 10 books. And more interestingly, he has written 7,000 blog posts over the last 15 years. And he also has created a single blog post every single day. And he also said that the amateurs, the ones who give up, who are not professional, they sit around and they wait for something to hit them, and they're never getting started. Whereas the professionals, they know that not everything will be perfect. However, the thing about inspiration is that it is totally overrated. You just have to write. You have to write. You have to create. You have to get going. You just have to start. And then your craft will just become better. Not every day will be perfect. Not every day you will feel inspired. However, you just need to make the effort to work on your craft or your skill or whatever. Public pressure. People said that public pressure is helping him to just not miss a day, because he said sometimes obviously he will not feel like sitting down after a long day of doing something else, or when there was stress, or when he didn't feel good, or maybe he was sick. He just didn't feel like creating a piece of art or just sitting down for 2, 3, 4 hours and just creating something. However, the fact that he has announced it and he has made a commitment to the public that he was going to do this helped him to also push through that. And we'll come back to this in a very similar way later on. But for example, in trading, you could, for example, create a social media profile, or maybe you set up your H1 trading journal in a way where you share your public profile page, and you just create a little bit of public pressure, not too much, but you share your public profile page in H1 to your social media profile or to your trading forum, and then other people can look over your shoulder, so to speak. So this creates also a little bit of public pressure, which holds you then accountable. What would you do if money was no objective? So I was really interested in seeing what he was going to do after selling his art for 69 million US dollars. And some people were probably expecting that he would take some time off, or maybe just go on a holiday or whatever. However, I think this was like 2 weeks ago now, and he has been continuing to create a single piece of art every single day without fail. He didn't sit back. He didn't go, I don't know if he got out and bought Ferraris, but it seems like money is not his main motivation, and he just loves to do what he's been doing. And this is a very, very good tell, or just a good thing to ask yourself in general. If you would have 50 million US dollar on your bank account tomorrow, would you still continue to trade? Would you still continue to do whatever you would be doing? And many traders, I presume, wouldn't do that, because deep down inside, they don't have a real passion for trading. It's not about that they absolutely love it. They're just in it for the money. And that is a big, big problem, because if money is your only or your main motivator, then when the hard time comes, you will not have the guts and the stamina to push through that. So this is a very, very valid and good point, which I think many people should ponder about. If you would answer that, if money wouldn't be an objective, and if you had all the money in the world, would you still keep doing what you're doing right now? And the answer is no. Then maybe it's time to look for something else. And I find this very interesting to just think about. What would you do instead? So one of the podcasts, the interviewers, they asked people, what would you do if you hadn't started your art project? And then he said, I don't know, maybe probably just sit around and watch TV, or just fool around on social media. And if you have, I think most phones in these days, you can track your average screen time, so you can see how much time you're spending on YouTube or on your phone, on your screen in general. And he also said that on an average it takes two hours, I think he said, to create a single piece of art every single day. And most people spend more than those 2 hours per day on their phones, or just wasting time in general. So the thought that this time that you're wasting, so to speak, on your phone every single day, it could lead you to create a hobby that would then allow you to, maybe in 10, 15, 20 years, to become a multi-millionaire and reach worldwide success and fame. So I think this is something that is something to really think about, because it doesn't take, over the long term, it takes a lot of time, but short term, even dedicating 2 hours every day. And again, he said he has been creating 5,000 pieces of art. 2 hours per day or per piece gives you the 10,000 hour, the famous 10,000 hour rule. So short term, you don't need as much time, 1 hour, 2 hour every day. I'm probably sure that look at your phone and see how much time you're wasting on your screen. You could probably spend that for something much better. And then it's just about the long-term marathon. And the last one, recognize progress. I always say that to our students in Tradeciety as well. Very often we are too hard on ourselves, and we have traders who have been with us for 1 or 2 years, and they are very hard on themselves. And then I just keep reminding them, hey, I remember when you started with us, when you started your process with us in our mentoring group, and I remember your trades were completely all over the place. You didn't even know how to draw a support and resistance level. You didn't even know what a reward to risk ratio was, and you couldn't even hold on to your winning trade, and you would always break your rules on that entry. And just being able to recognize progress can make such a big difference in your mindset and in your just level of happiness and your level of satisfaction, that it's gonna have a multitude of other benefits in the other areas of your trading. So being able to look back on your trading and just recognizing progress, having a mentor or just having a trading journal which you can consult, and you just look at your past trades from 6 months ago and 12 months ago, and you see how far you have come. This will help you, even if right now you're hitting a roadblock, maybe you're in a losing streak. You just look back and you see that, okay, I just need to keep doing what I've been doing, and things will improve and will get better over time. So let me know what you think about this type of content. Let me know which of those 6 points you feel the most relatable or most interesting, and let me know, what are you willing to start? What hobby have you been postponing, and what skill do you always want to learn but you haven't done that because of one of those excuses: perfection, no time, no inspiration, and so on and so forth. So let me know. I would really love to hear from you. Until the next time.